The local economy, just like everywhere else in the world, has taken a beating, and a national report yesterday highlighted the catastrophic rise in food insecurity in the U.S. It says 1 in 5 U.S. children does not get enough food. Here to discuss hunger in Central Virginia is Doug Pick, President and CEO of FeedMore. Mr. Pick, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening, Bill. Nice to be with you.
It's always a miracle when all these technological things work out, so we thank you for your patience. What is the state of food insecurity right now in Central Virginia, and has it gotten worse since the pandemic began?
Well, Bill, it's challenging, to say the least. It has gotten worse. We know that through our algorithms that a 7.5% increase in unemployment, 4% increase in poverty. That equals in the middle part of Virginia, where we cover 29 counties and 5 cities, another 89,000 folks have become food insecure on top of the 193 that already were. So yeah, it's tough and it's challenging.
Well, and I know that you're the backstop to sort of food pantries and areas, like you said, covering 29 counties. What has the closing of schools done and perhaps disrupting probably many children's access to 1 or 2 meals a day? We know that the schools have set up sort of ad hoc systems for dropping off for dropping up and picking up the food for children. But has that also been a problem in terms of children getting food?
It's certainly gotten worse, Bill. Historically, in our service area, 1 out of 7 children has been food insecure, and at this point, it does look like it may be 1 in 5. To be sure, the school systems, whether it's Richmond Public, Henrico, and others, assisting does help. All of our agencies have certainly been assisting all the families who, of course, are feeding their own children. And then that influx has been an additional 35% foot traffic from our clients there. So between the school systems, between our agencies, which are holding up really well, I think they're pretty well covered for the summer. I do, Bill. I feel like we're in solid shape.
Well, that is certainly a hopeful notion, because when you see a story in a national paper like the New York Times citing that report that 1 in 5 children not eating enough, that is 3 times what it was in the Great Recession 12 years ago. What is your takeaway? I guess it kind of explains the hugeness of this catastrophe.
Yeah, it does, Bill. Look, we've always been looking after folks of low income, those food insecure people. You know, the country, only 50% of our country, actually 50% does not have $500 at time of need. Those are the folks that have a car bill and all of a sudden need to use a food bank or one of our wonderful agencies. At this point, those folks are still with us, but guess what? We've added yet another quintile, and that's the newly unemployed. Right now, they're being covered by a lot of government money and assistance. We worry an awful lot about this fall, September through June, for those new folks who've never, ever thought they'd use a food bank or come to a pantry or have to sign up for SNAP, a very important solution in this country for all these new food insecure people.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. So if somebody is watching, or if someone watching knows someone who might be food insecure right now, what is the first thing to do? Is it SNAP? Because we hear that there's a debate in Washington about whether to expand it, whether to cut it. There's some uncertainty there. What is the first thing that someone should do to say, okay, suddenly I can't put enough food on the table?
The first thing, quite honestly, Bill, people have to come to some level of acceptance of these folks who've never thought they'd be there. That's the first piece. Then in our area, I'd go to feedmore.org and I'd go to Get Help. And you'll see that takes you to a hunger hotline where you can find an agency locator, find an agency in a pantry near you, or call the hunger hotline and they can get you started on signing up for SNAP. It's interesting. I've been in constant touch with Abigail Spanberger, Mark Warner, and Tim Kaine about this very subject. We've been talking for the last 4 weeks a lot, particularly Congressman Spanberger and myself, on the importance of adding 15% to what we already do in SNAP for these new folks, these newly unemployed. It's the only scale in this country that SNAP and our grocery stores, they're going to solve this issue fully. Food banks will do all that we can, but it is going to take something of much larger scale. That is a solution. Folks really need to get behind that. It's best for this country and for these folks who find themselves in this untenable position.
Absolutely. That is excellent advice, and hopefully something that everyone will hear and learn. Go to feedmore.org and look under the tab, Get Help. Doug Pick, President and CEO of FeedMore, thank you, sir, for appearing tonight, and thank you for your good work.
Good evening, Bill. Thank you so much for looking after us.